All right, we're going to go ahead and get started with all two of us.
You got a motion and a second.
We've got a motion and a second. We're ready to go home today. We'll give a few more minutes, a couple more minutes. So come on, get ready. Well, I want to welcome everybody to the first meeting of the Subcommittee for Regulatory. I guess we regulate anything. So look forward to this year. It seems like it's already been a whole year. I don't know if the rest of y'all feel the same way or not. All right, Chairman Carson, we're ready whenever you are.
Thank you, Mr.
Let me get you going there.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and members of the subcommittee in regard to regulatory. As most of you, or several of you know in the staff, I'm a CPA, have been licensed in Georgia since 1998, or 97, I think it was. And when I came up through the profession, it was required to get a 4-year degree plus 2 years of public experience or 5 years of private experience, such as at a corporation and so forth. And this is in regard to how to license to become a CPA, a certified public accountant. My profession, and especially others that do assurance work, provide a vital service for our cities, our counties, municipalities, obviously shareholders of just about any corporation in regard to trust, transparency, everything in regard to the books that we look at and review, provide assurance on, and so forth. What this House Bill 148 does is goes back to those old requirements in regard to, or should I say, it provides a new pathway. Because what happened under Georgia law in January, I believe it was 1998, we followed the lead of many other states in regard to making it such that you had to have a 5-year degree plus 1 year of, or a year or two of experience. Current law is 1 year of experience. What we want to do in House Bill 148 is provide for a alternate pathway, or new pathway, such that someone can still get a 5-year degree or a Master of Accountancy or what have you and do 1 year of experience, or what I would believe is more valuable is to get a 4-year undergrad degree with a concentration in accounting just like before, but also 2 years of experience and obviously pass the CPA exam. Mr. Chairman, I will tell you, when I was working in corporate life back in the 1990s, as well as also going to my master's classes at Kennesaw State, I also had another job to do tax work for a local firm in Marietta. And I will tell you, I learned more, and I think there's some CPAs behind me, I learned more doing work, hands-on work on the job from October until April 15th or a little bit thereafter. I learned far more in a tax season than I did in a year of master's classes. With this bill, you might see a letter of support. This is supported unanimously, and I want to stress that, unanimously by the Georgia Society of CPAs, which Don Cook here represents. It's also unanimously supported by the Georgia State Board of Accountancy, and also you see a footnote at the bottom that it's supported by the Big Four accounting firms, such as Deloitte, PricewaterhouseCoopers, my former employer, KPMG, E&Y, others. That's really what it is. We're doing something also that's being done currently in 35 states, which is going toward less concentration on a 5-year degree, but more concentration on experience. So we're not getting rid of that requirement, but we're adding a pathway such that people can focus on experience rather than a 5th year of college. That's basically the bill. It has bipartisan support. The 2 CPAs in the House, myself and Representative Wilkerson, have signed on to this. As well as several chairmen, as well as Representative Kimberly Alexander, who, as I understand it, provides assurance work of some sort.
All right. Well, appreciate that. Has anybody got any questions, committee? All right. We got 2 people signed up to speak on behalf of the bill or against the bill. I don't know. Let's find out. Boyd Search. Yes, sir. And just tell us who you're with, all that good stuff.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, thanks for having me. I'm Boyd Search, President and CEO of the Georgia Society of CPAs. I had prepared remarks. I'm going to ditch those and basically just tell you, in my over 25 years of representing and working in this profession, I have not seen the profession, both in the state of Georgia and across over 30 other states, coalesce together this quickly over statutory changes to accountancy law. So this represents years of work and has significant support, unlike anything I've ever seen before when we do this type of work.
So you're saying you're FERT. Is that right? You're saying you're FERT then. All right. Catherine Fletcher.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Catherine Fletcher, and I'm a CPA practicing public accountancy as the quality control partner at the firm Drafton & Tucker. I also have the honor of serving as chair of the board of the Georgia Society of CPAs. Today with me, not only do we have members of our board from the Georgia Society of CPAs, but we also have members of our Georgia State Board of Accountancy. If you would please stand. Thank you, guys. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you today in support of House Bill 148, a bill that makes much-needed updates to Georgia's CPA licensure framework. As a practicing CPA, I understand firsthand the challenges our profession faces, especially in attracting and retaining qualified professionals. CPAs play a critical role in maintaining the financial integrity of businesses, nonprofits, and governmental entities across Georgia. However, the pipeline of new CPAs is shrinking, and our firms, businesses, and clients are feeling the impact. House Bill 148 helps address this issue while preserving the high standards of education, experience, and ethics that define our profession. Key reasons I support House Bill 148: strengthening the CPA pipeline while maintaining quality. As someone who oversees quality control at a CPA firm, I know how essential education experience are for competent accountants. The bill does not lower standards, but it adds flexibility, allowing a master's in accountancy or taxation with 1 year of experience as a pathway and a bachelor's of accounting and 2 years of experience as a pathway. These changes help ensure future CPAs receive both academic knowledge and hands-on experience before licensure. Without these updates, Georgia risks losing talented accounting students to states with more flexible pathways. Number two, it addresses the workforce shortage in public accounting. CPA firms, especially in smaller communities, are struggling to hire qualified candidates. Many accounting students graduate with 120 hours but never pursue the CPA designation because of the cost and time burden. By providing alternative pathways, House Bill 148 makes the CPA designation more accessible without compromising expertise. Number three, it keeps Georgia competitive in a changing profession. Other states are making similar changes to modernize the CPA licensure. If Georgia doesn't act, we may see firms and businesses facing an even greater talent shortage as CPAs choose to practice in other states with more flexibility. Attracting and retaining CPAs is not just a firm issue, it's a business issue, as companies of all sizes rely on CPAs for tax compliance, audits, and financial guidance. Lastly, number four, maintaining the public trust and professional integrity. The bill upholds the rigorous standards of Georgia's CPA profession. CPAs will still be required to pass the Uniform CPA exam, which is our gold standard, and gain practical experience before licensure and follow strict ethical and competency standards. House Bill 148 ensures Georgia remains a leader in the professional excellence while adapting to today's workforce challenges. In conclusion, I urge this committee to support House Bill 148. This bill ensures that Georgia remains competitive, that businesses have access to qualified professionals, and that our CPA profession continues to thrive without sacrificing quality. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, and I think you answered the question a lot of us probably had while you're needing this, and it's like everybody else. You got a shortage coming. All right. Got any questions from the committee or comments? Okay.
It's a question. I just wanted to mention one more thing, sir. I just wanted to give it a little bit more detail on the changes. The current rule for us to become a CPA, and some of us were grandfathered in under the old rules because we're old. The current rule is that you have to have 150 semester hours of college work and take the CPA exam and a year of experience. This is actually two pathways we're adding such that you can get a bachelor's degree with a concentration in accounting or relevant work, plus 2 years of experience, or a third option, whereas you can get a master's degree plus 1 year of experience. So either 150 hours or basically a master's degree. Under the Regents, it's basically the same thing. The other thing I wanted to stress, and it's covered in this one pager that I believe is in your packet in regard to House Bill 148. We're also, it's important to note, we're also revising and updating our mobility standards such that if you have, in regard to cross-border CPA work, such that if you're in Dalton and you want your tax return done by somebody in Chattanooga for a Georgia return, that's obviously legal to do now. If you're in Dalton and you want somebody in Chattanooga to do audit work for your company in Dalton, I don't believe that is currently allowed. They have to have a physical presence in Georgia. To deal with this workforce issue, we are allowing CPAs, as long as they're reputably licensed in other states, to do work in Georgia, not just for tax, but also for assurance work.
My question on that, who, I guess, checks their license to make sure that they're comparable with the Georgia?
You want to answer that? I just want to introduce Don Cook. He's head of legislative affairs for the Georgia Society of CPAs.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Don Cook, Georgia Society of CPAs. To answer your question, basically the home state that they're licensed in. So for mobility to work, they have to have a license in good standing from their home state, obviously. They have to have passed the CPA exam. And then we're also going to point to board rule to define if there's any added education requirements on top of that. But they would have to have a CPA license from their home state.
Okay, and to do the audits now, they can't come over, right?
Correct. Right.
Okay.
Which has caused a problem, especially, and I'm sure you've heard from municipalities and counties in Georgia, finding CPAs to do those required audits. It's hard. I mean, the pipeline challenge is real, as you mentioned earlier, not just with CPAs, with a lot of professions, but certainly we're seeing a lot of those issues, kind of rear their ugly head up on this one. So we want to try to fix that and get ahead of it.
Okay.
And most of you on the subcommittee know I'm from Cobb County, like Representative Smith. And in our area, in the metropolitan area, we can recruit CPAs. We can pay them, in the 80, 90, 100,000 range for a first-year starter. You try to get a CPA, and we pass many bills in regard to requiring assurance or audits, or at least reviews, which is a lower-level audit for various cities and counties. You try to get a CPA to do an audit of the city of Hazelhurst or Moultrie, and you're competing with big four firms right here on Peachtree Street. They're paying well over $100,000. And it is absolutely a workforce issue. But I just want to stress, it's not so much an issue for Cobb County as it is for rural Georgia.
Okay. Well, thank you. Any questions?
Appropriate time, move to pass.
All right, so we've got a motion to pass. Do I have a second? Second. Got a second. All right. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, you move on to full committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
There has to be some great joke about a bunch of accountants in a room, but I don't know one right now.
Mr. Chairman, I wanted to say that it better be around accountants and lawyers. Okay?
Nice people.
Thank you, sir. All right, our next victim.
Victim of the day, right? Oh, my bill out here. Okay. Where's my? Good afternoon, gentlemen. Right? All gentlemen. I bring today for your consideration House Bill 185. And you may or may not recognize it from last session. This bill actually did pass through the Health Committee last year, unanimously. Went on to pass the House. I bet we have. 884. Thank you for that. 884. HB 884 last time. And like so many bills that we've heard about this session, it got caught up at the very tail end over in rules on the Senate side. Otherwise, generally had no opposition whatsoever. We feel this is a much needed bill to help modernize the language in the current Georgia Dietetics Practice Act. So that's really the goal of this new bill. The Georgia Dietetic Practice Act originated in 1994, nearly a little more than 30 years ago, and has remained unchanged all these years, regardless of certainly changes in the industry, improvements and developments in the fields of nutrition therapy and dietetics. So the purpose of this bill is to kind of update it, bring it into a modern era with modern language, and to achieve a few different goals: to provide pathways to licensure for more qualified nutritionists. And it's kind of interesting for those that have questions, because I certainly did in the beginning. I want to just draw a distinction here between just general nutrition advice, like the sort of thing that a coach or a personal trainer might give you, generalized nutrition, and medical nutrition. All right, so I just kind of went, so I could read here from medical nutrition. On line 73, that definition of medical nutrition therapy means the provision of any of the following nutrition care services for the treatment or management of a disease or medical condition: nutrition assessment, nutrition diagnosis, nutrition intervention, or nutrition monitoring and evaluation. So you see, that goes far beyond just generalized nutrition advice on good diet. So this is for the purpose of really treating and helping with medical conditions. That's an important distinction. What the legislation here does is narrows the regulation of that particular field by requiring those that engage in nutrition therapy, to have the highest level of training, because it is that important. They need to have that expertise to manage complex nutrition-related conditions. So we draw that distinction here with the licensure. Also, what is different about the bill this time is that we have, the bill includes the adoption of an interstate licensure compact, but this committee is no stranger to compacts. It would authorize Georgia to join a multi-state agreement that would allow those with licenses to move freely between the states that are part of the compact. That's, as you guys know, that would expand employment opportunities for those in the state and others, improve the continuity of care when patients or practitioners move between states, certainly reduce the burden of carrying multiple state licenses, and one of my favorite reasons, which is one of the groups that benefits the most from this, are military spouses across this state and others in the compact. So I do want to introduce, while I'm here though, Robin Stegall, who is with the Georgia Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. It's a complex field, and so I'm always very grateful to be able to lean into someone that has greater expertise on the nuances of the practice itself. So Robin, would you like to say a few words before I think we'll open it up for questions as well, hopefully?
Thank you. Hi, good afternoon, Chairman, members of the committee. Oh, thank you. It's a privilege to be here. My name is Robin Stegall. I'm a registered dietitian in private practice for the past 16 years. I also volunteer with the Georgia Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics as the chair of the Government Affairs Committee and the Public Policy Coordinator. I actually had the benefit of testifying before this committee 3 years ago regarding our licensure, current licensure law, and the byproduct of that experience and that testimony was a realization that we really did need to take a look at our statute and figure out how to make it work better for our communities and for the profession. And is there a way to do that? And we have spent the past 3 years working with dietitians in the state of Georgia, with our National Academy, and with allied health professions to address some of the concerns about increasing access to nutrition care for all the citizens in Georgia. The other benefit of that time elapsed is the creation of an interstate licensure compact for dietitians, and we would like to be able to have Georgia dietitians participate in that interstate licensure compact. And so our bill is lengthy, and I will say, if I could just point out that over half of the language in the bill is specific to joining the interstate licensure compact. And then the final realization of that testimony 3 years ago was the fact that we had not advance the language and the terminology in our statute to keep pace with what is required to become a dietitian and the kinds of training and expertise that you need to be a dietitian. So we wanted to update the language to that provision. And there were also some concerns at that testimony 3 years ago regarding our exclusions and exemptions, and exactly, what did you need a license to do when it comes to nutrition care? I mean, do you need a license to do anything to do with nutrition? Or specifically, where is the risk of harm? How can we be clear about that? Because the goal really of our licensure law is, 1, to keep the public safe, 2, to make our communities healthier, and 3, make it easier for folks to access the right level of nutrition care. And we really feel like the work that's elapsed over the past 3 years addresses those concerns, and we would ask for your support of House Bill 185. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Any questions, committee? All right. Got someone wants to speak. Tony.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Jet Tony, working for the Georgia Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. I just want to notify the committee that this organization made a commitment to this committee and the members who were serving at that time that if House Bill 996, which was troublesome for really all concerned, including the consuming public, that the organization would work with national leaders, with Representative Earhart especially, and with Legislative Council to bring back solutions to cover everyone's concerns. And this has not been an easy project. In fact, I was telling Brian that I've been blessed to be down here a couple of years, and I've not seen this much work go into a bill, except for maybe changing the state constitution a few decades ago. And so this is a promise fulfilled, and we were very pleased and thankful for the work that the Health Committee did last year, the Senate Regulated Industries Committee, and we are pleased to have this legislation before you quickly so that we can avoid that late session rush in Senate rules. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So going back to the interstate compact, is it a reciprocity with other states, or will it just be solely we'll take certain states or all states?
Well, my understanding, Ms. Tony, if you'll stay nearby to help me clarify the current status of the compact, is that it's not up and running yet. That I think four states, and I could be wrong, I believe 4 states are currently considering it. One of the benefits to Georgia, and please again, Mr. Tenney, correct me if I'm wrong on this, one of the benefits of being one of the first 7 states in the compact is that we would have a seat at the table to determine some of the rules of the compact. I don't know if you want to weigh in on that.
Well, that's my understanding of how compacts work. In effect, if you're one of the first 7 states, you become the board of directors, a member of the board of directors of that compact. Now, Robin, the reciprocity is only going to occur with states that are in the compact, correct?
Yes.
And that's an important distinction from 50-state free-for-all.
Okay.
Right, and that's what you were asking.
Yes, that's exactly
I'm
what
sorry, yeah.
Yes. All right. Do we have any questions from the committee? What's the will of the committee? Talk about somebody that needs a dietitian. About 3 of us up here. I got a motion. I have a second. I got a second?
That's it, second.
Oh, okay. Got a motion and a second. All right. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank y'all. All right. Does anybody else have anything they need to talk about today? If not, we'll be adjourned. Thank you.